everybody. This is Luca Majno. We're back again with another powerful show. This is Global News Update on TLBTV with my friend from California, Frank Gregory Ford. And this is where we give you complete backstage and up-to-date info as to the developments occurring in our world today. And are they ever developing? I kid you not. Greg, this is unbelievable what's going on. How are you doing?
Hey, I've got plenty to talk about tonight. If anybody is awake, okay, yeah. Hey, you're going to hear, last week, what did they hear? They heard that Oklahoma City was an entirely engineered bombing of the Murrah building in Oklahoma. And now we've got names, places, people, the amounts of money, who was paid by what. And on top of that, we've even got seismographs that bear out the fact that it was truly, indeed, a domestic bombing. And no, it wasn't done by some angry kid who was angry, very angry at Waco. Right. Not only that, it turns out he was part of Waco. And, surprise, there was a danger that he might roll over on Bill Clinton and Hillary. And what happened? They gave him the death penalty. All right? Overrode 434 people that were on death row to stick him up at the top of death row. Okay, There we go. That was last week. I've got something this week too.
It's like it's nonstop because the stuff is coming out. They cannot hide their tracks. And this is what my grandmother always told me. You can't lie. People are going to find out. So should I start Snapshot?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay. I'm going to share screens with you, and I want to start with this because this is really important. This shows, believe it or not, this shows where we are at today, okay? Bear with me. It's all relevant. It's called genocide. How does genocide work, okay? Look at the picture really closely. Take what is infinitely wild and free, take the savage beast out of the woods, take all that's sacred to it, take it all and then make fun of it and ridicule it. Okay, now you can take it and civilize it. Now you can take it and dress it up and take all that's left of its pride and take that and sell it for profit from, to the world entire. Take the most sacred words of all and trash them. Because you know what? The word Tahoe that you're seeing, it means all my relations or amen to the Indian. That's what it means. That's exactly what they're doing to Palestine right now. That's what the powers that be did to my red brothers and sisters. And this is why I started on this path to begin with. And they give us disinfo and misinfo. And guess what? If we're fighting each other, we can't fight the enemy. Isn't that how it works? We can't, if we're fighting each other, that's all they want us to do. They want us to just go after each other all the time and have us war on each other. This is a priceless one from Christopher Walken for people that feel tired and for empaths. Very quickly, when you naturally have a healing aura, you attract a lot of damaged people. And having them in your life could drain your energy to the max. A reminder that it's not your job to heal everyone you encounter. You can't pour from an empty cup. Take care of yourself first. And you know what? There's a little sarcastic little nudge in there for shows like Greg's and mine, because we can't get everybody to believe us. All we can do is do what we do best. And the rest is not our responsibility. Greg, look at this one. This is probably one of the best ones I've seen this year. It is symptomatic of the current human condition that the system we live under sees every aspect of Earth, from land, sea, flora to fauna, and every other human being as a commodity with a monetary value. We have allowed corporations to claim ownership over our common resources, selling back to us what was naturally ours to begin with. Furthermore, we are forced into working for these corporations to obtain the promissory notes of another corporation to be able to buy back what should be free to all. If we were more honest with ourselves, we would call this what it really is. It's slavery. Okay. Okay. So with that, I wanted to talk really quickly about war, because I saw this on social media and I couldn't resist for tonight. If the government really cared about the opioid epidemic in America, these guys would be holding flamethrowers. Okay. And then I remembered a really beautiful Native American saying that that said, if they were truly men of honor and men of virtue, they never would have left their country. I'm going to repeat that. If they were really men of honor and virtue, they never would have left their country. Okay? War against a foreign country only happens when the moneyed classes think that they can profit from it. Okay? The only reason for war is to kill the other entity and steal their resources. That's it. And this is for Greg. The U.S. Navy, not only will they shoot you dead from a fantail of a destroyer while you're in a life raft in choppy seas, they'll do it at night on Easter Sunday. That's my favorite one. Okay? And I'm going to give you a quote now from Cody Snodgres.
Yes.
And I have to say this. It's really important to get this out, and it took a lot of strength for me to do this, because in his words, pictures like these are PSYOPs photos. Okay? This is how our government plays with our emotions, and this is how they do things. Same thing on 9/11 as for Oklahoma City. They did that on purpose to make us go, oh my God, oh, how terrible. And this is how they do things, okay? For Oklahoma City, they had deliberately placed the bombs in the daycare in order to maximize death and unimaginable suffering, to play with our emotions. And they did the same thing with 9/11. So tell me again, they really care about us, right? Cody Snodgres says, and this is a quote, "The PSYOP was on. The cover-up was on. This is a combination of media control, black ops, and shadow government chicanery to cover up one of the greatest and worst medical scandals and the worst crime syndicates in Arkansas with the Clintons and the CIA. And it's basically to keep us in fear all the time. We always have to be kept in fear because we never know what's going on. We're supposed to trust the government, right? And it's like, this is another quote from him. He said, this is a massive, massive cover-up on many levels. The Clintons have been collecting dirt on everybody now for a long time in their defense, you know, in case they're threatened, right? And in Oklahoma City, they were covering up 400,000 files or more, medical files of the veterans coming back from the Gulf War. And if you look at one of our shows about depleted uranium, you'll see somebody by the name of Doug Roke who says that in the Gulf War, we used 350 tons of depleted uranium. That's uranium-238. They were not coated. They were not tipped. Okay? 350 tons of uranium-238. So, like Greg and I like to say, you know, the Middle East is glowing right now.
I appreciate that, by the way, Luca, those photos, because that was the first thing I had to do was take several tests to find out just how much depleted uranium I had been exposed to. Okay, and in this case, the with all of these people getting sick, dropping dead, dying after 15 years of agony, and I was so inspired, okay, that I started one of the groups for the burn pit issue.
Right.
And you know who my number one adversary is? My number one adversary is the Veterans Administration. All right. I've never dealt with a federal group that is vicious. I mean, they don't even try to hide it, you know. And everyone within the sound of my voice that can hear this, understand. You have somebody that went to Iraq, you can bet that they have been exposed to a lethal, dangerous condition intentionally, and our government doesn't want to pay for it. All right? Our government goes out and starts an illegal war on a autonomous country like Iraq, all right, sovereignty, national sovereignty, like any other nation. And what happens is we use unlimited depleted uranium, okay, to destroy their armor columns and whatever else. Then we use death rays on them. I've seen that with my own eyes, death rays, okay. And then we start, which is still going on, we start the industrialized terror program, torture and terror program, by the way, which is up to 157 countries.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Please, please, next time they want to have a war, do not go. Do not let your children go. Do not let your loved ones go. Why? Okay. Because just recently, the Pentagon said, we know there's plenty of radiation out there killing people, our own people. We don't care. In fact, we're going to raise the amount of radiation and depleted uranium on the battlefield next time. And they're doing it. All right. Don't believe me. Go research it. Syria. All right. We're going even attacking, think about attacking Lebanon, Libya. All right. Iraq. Oh, and by the way, yes, Iran. Okay. Right. Iran's on the hot seat now. Okay. And funny, here, let me tell you this, folks. This is something you should know by now, is all those countries I just named, guess who was working for us? As in the agency, every single one of those countries. And I've got more to say later, Luca, about all of those countries.
Well, before we change the subject of Oklahoma City, and thanks for letting me come in here, Greg, I wanted to give honor to the black policeman that was the first responder in Oklahoma City at the bombing, after the bombing happened. Terry Yeakey, and you can look at him. You can look him up on YouTube. He came in, and he was looking for survivors, and he saw an unexploded bomb in the daycare. And because those 400,000 veterans' files, medical files, had not been destroyed, they got everybody out of there, and the FBI and the CIA got in there and had to take out the files manually in boxes because they weren't destroyed like they wanted it. So what happened to Terry, him and his wife made copies of boxes and boxes of files that Terry was getting together while he was investigating what happened, because he saw the unexploded bomb in the daycare and he knew what was going on. So he had a friend of his take one copy of the files, and his plane goes down the same day when he's flying somewhere, right? He himself is found far away from his car in a field somewhere with, completely cut up and suicided in the back of the head, of course. And when his wife finds out, she goes down to the bank's security deposit where the last copy of those files were, and she's informed by the bank that the FBI just left from there, taking all the stuff that they own. So this is the type of, oh yeah, and then her brakes failed 2 weeks after that in her car. Right. Okay, so it's all these things like that we're trying to bring up here because they're really, really important. I'm ready to go to Israel whenever you are, Greg, because I got to do a short thing on Israel, unless you have something more to say about that.
Yeah, no. There's got to be plenty more about Oklahoma City. Afraid so. Yeah. I know the Bushes don't like it. I especially know that the Clintons don't like it, all right? And I know Obama's not going to like what I have to say now, all right? So, okay, now, in this situation, now that this evidence is coming out, I've noticed that the big broadcast networks are busy trying to what do they call that? Net neutrality. Okay. In other words, folks, they're trying right now. Our government's in a panic mode. They are trying to get you to not listen to what we are saying. Okay, that's what they're saying now. All right. Don't be surprised if we're not on much longer. Okay, so you better listen. They're going to make sure that alternate media, which is what we are, is de-seed, discontinued. Okay, you don't want to get a bunch of pablum, a bunch of glop like you get out of CNN, Oh, geez. You know, if you don't believe me, watch 10 minutes of CNN and then ask yourself what you learned after 10 minutes.
Mm.
Okay. Then go to like Russia Today. Watch 10 minutes of Russia Today. I guarantee you'll learn something. You will learn it. And who's under the biggest attack right now? They didn't attack the BBC. They didn't attack any of the French cable news networks. No, they attacked Russia Today. Be aware, folks. You know, this beast ain't going down without a fight. Okay? You think it is? Oh, no, they're just getting started. All right. And so you better take that same attitude, too. You want to get our government back? You better start firing, demanding, and firing. You know, Luca, you just talked about Oklahoma City and all the material. We've got the names of the contractors. We've got the names of the agencies. We've got the names of Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. That's more than enough right there. And what happens is nothing. All right.
No.
So you know what would happen if you said, everybody called in and said, fire those goddamn senators, those pimped out politicians that we got that are selectively targeting our children for psychological warfare. That's what happened. That photo of that fireman, that was staged intentionally. Mm-hmm. That little boy, yes, he was dead. He did die in that blast, but that was staged for maximum psychological effect. Okay.
With the socks halfway off the feet, you know. Yeah.
Yes, of course. You better believe it. Okay. That's what we have going here. We have our own government launching war, declaring war on the people of the United States of America. And it's been going on pretty effectively for about 30 years. It's been winding up. All right. Okay. Gladio A, Gladio B, Gladio C. We're right in the middle of Gladio C. And hey, you could say it comfortably started with the first Gulf War. Okay. What happened after the first Gulf War? Okay. I mean, the first of all, it was a test bed. The first Gulf War, you know, everybody wanted to see what would happen. That's in the government. All these lobbyists, all these defense contractors. Hey, as I found out, what are Americans going to do if we start torturing? They're ordered to torture. What are they going to do? How are we going to handle it? Okay. Remember King Khalid Air Base. All right. In 91. All right. King Khalid Air Base, Saudi Arabia, the first staged industrialized torture program. All right. That's where we got the idea to start torturing in a black ops program. Okay, that's what we have here. Okay, copper green. What can you say about it? You've heard me talk about it. Copper green. Has anybody slowed it up? Has anybody even stopped it? Of course not, folks. And so guess what? These politicians, they don't face being fired. They don't face being, you know, brought up on criminal charges. Luca, you just said, hey, the FBI came in and is helping cover all this. The FBI. You know.
You know what? Also, something that Cody Snodgres says is that just like Hillary and Bill, who have dirt on everybody else, so that they can't be, they're untouchable, right?
The FBI, five rings.
The FBI. Listen to this one. The FBI had dirt on several police officers, you know, drug running and you know, drug dealing in the Oklahoma City Police Department. And they came down and on them, and they said, "Listen, if you don't help us put this out, we're gonna turn up the heat on you guys." And this is kind of the thing that I've always wondered, like how can police just, you know, get rolled in under the ebb tide and go with the tidal wave, and how can nobody, you know, do something in clear conscience? So I thought I'd throw that one in.
Well, keep in mind, some of the other material that was in the Murrah building was the CIA evidence of all the connections of cocaine peddling, heroin pushing, marijuana pushing, okay, by Bill and Hillary Clinton, okay? All that material was on them. That's why, if you notice, the fall guy, the patsy, Timothy McVeigh, Yes, he got a death sentence handed to him immediately. By guess who? Bill Clinton. If you don't bring the Clintons up for any other bad thing that they've done, and they've done a ocean load of bad things, okay? Hey, the murder, the intentional, signed, premeditated murder of Timothy McVeigh, okay? Now, I think you've heard this one from me, folks, and I've got a lot more to say here, but as you might imagine, but when I was at my bombs, demolitions, and booby trap school in the wonderful, illustrious state of North Dakota, who was there when I show up in my little private plane, okay, and I start taking this school, is the FBI. They wanted to know something, okay? They wanted to know why they were getting seismic readings, earthquake readings at the Oklahoma City bombing site. And why would those show two separate seismic events at the Oklahoma City bombing? Well, it's real simple, okay? That one school that I was attending, and this is coming from the FBI agents, by the way, the feds, is they couldn't figure out, first of all, why we were using ammonium nitrate, military grade. It's made for cavitation, as in blowing up, pitting, okay, crevicing, or that sort of thing. Cratering a runway, airport runway, things like that. Okay, we had tons of it accessible, plenty of it accessible, but we had military grade. Obviously, with those seismic readings, the Murrah building was detonated by, blown up by, first of all, it wasn't blown up by the ammonium nitrate, okay? That was a diversion. It was a truck pulled into the driveway that barely, it dug a pit. Oh, big deal. The whole truck was filled with it. But there was a much bigger explosion. And I've got into it at length. And that's what the federal agents were trying to figure out, is where and when could Timothy McVeigh learn how to make a bomb that would virtually use directed gas, okay, called the Clark effect. That's what cut that building in half, folks, is the Clark effect. Okay, have you heard anything about Timothy McVeigh being so experienced that he can make a bomb that could literally, by the way, it was the same bomb that took out the Marine barracks in Lebanon and Beirut, right. Okay? Yep. Same bomb, okay? And it was used, sheets of marble were used, certain grade of marble, conical explosives were used to generate directed gases, okay? Does that sound like Timothy McVeigh had the capability of producing 3 of those, okay? 3 of those, and then producing a truck filled with ammonium nitrate?
Right.
Well, sorry, folks. Yes, there were 2 seismic readings. Don't believe me. Call the FBI, because the FBI got the information, and the fellow that got it, one of the honest people in the FBI, I can say from my experience of dealing directly with the FBI on the torture issue, I can say about 90% of the people in the FBI are good, clean, squared away folks, okay, that mean business. 10% are the biggest shit bags that should be learning how to make license plates in federal prison, okay? Is that tough to understand? Well, the one man who stood up and said, we have 2 seismic events, one from C4, okay, compound B, whatever you want, okay, C4, plastique, all right? Probably was C5, come to think of it. But the issue is it wasn't the ammonium nitrate that went off first. That helped. And that could rumble the building, certainly. That could blow up the awning on the driveway where it went off, okay? Certainly. But that's not what did the work, okay, in that explosive. Right. And there were 2. And the other 2 massive bombs didn't go off, okay? The folks, as Cody says, the folks didn't know how to do tertiary priming. That's what you needed, okay? They didn't know how. He would have done it automatically. he would have had tertiary confirmation on the detonation and speed of that detonation. All right. And by the way, when properly detonated, those weapons, the detonation propagation wave, okay, that's a fancy way of saying the concussion of that explosive, is about 3 times faster than a speeding bullet, maybe 4. Okay. So with proper direction, that building should have been pancaked. Okay. That's the whole key to this. It wasn't pancaked. They panicked. The contractors panicked. They had to keep everybody out of the building till they removed the other 2 bombs. Okay.
And all those files.
Okay. And on a tantalizing note, the federal agents also that were there wanted to talk to me because I knew about the Clark effect, okay, of gases detonating through shaped charges, okay? And that's when they told me that, yes, a guided missile took out Flight 800 over New York's Long Island Sound, okay? Remember the exploding gas tank? Wink, wink, okay? Right, yeah, I've got a bridge in Brooklyn I want to sell you while we're at it, okay? So but I've got something, okay, I'd like to talk about. How about, on the snapshot issue? Have they been informed, have our listeners been informed, by the way, about the massive amounts of opium flooding into the Cherokee Nation in Tahlequah?
We mentioned that on the other show, yeah.
Now, I wonder, okay, with, last week we had 2 billionaires killed because they had a generic pharmaceutical company that had dealings with Hillary Clinton. Who else? Who else is a rabid, mad dog killing everybody that crosses their path? Okay, Hillary Clinton, right? And Bill, don't forget Bill, that tousle-haired scamp. And then, what was it? The week before that, they had the doctor who filed the complaints about Bill and Hillary's foundation stealing all the money in Haiti. Okay, ended up with a kitchen knife. I think it was a Henkel kitchen knife, by the way, in his chest. And of course, as soon as the authorities found out in New York City that it had something to do with the Clintons, what did they say? They said, oh, he's been Arkansided, okay, as an Arkansas suicide, get it, wink, wink, okay, another one, all right? So it doesn't stop there. These people are on a roll. They know they can damn near do anything, okay? Well, I heard today something about the Lockerbie bombing, okay? Does that ring a bell with anybody? It should, because the Lockerbie bombing was connected somehow to, guess who? Okay, Muammar Gaddafi and Libya. Now, what have we heard in the last few weeks about Muammar Gaddafi? Okay, Libya, the intelligence annex in Benghazi. All right. Well, folks, even back then, it looks like somebody intentionally placed a bomb on that plane to kill the 2 counterintelligence agents, like myself, counterintelligence agents, because they had gotten proof showing that it appears now that Muammar Gaddafi was indeed working with the agency, the CIA, and had been all along. Okay, that gee, if the folks who had loved ones on the Pan Am flight, if Pan Am was still around, they would have some great grounds for suing the shit out of those folks. Okay, the U.S. government for one, Muammar Gaddafi for another, and Pan Am for another. By the way, the dossiers that they were carrying when they were on that plane, when it was brought down, were never located. Okay, they had dossiers on this whole issue. So that means that the American government, okay, CIA, Culinary Institute of America, remember them folks? Well, it appears now that they brought down that plane and in fact took out their own 2 American agents to make sure that bad old Muammar Gaddafi wasn't connected to, who? Reagan, all right, the President Reagan, the agency then. Okay, it just goes on and on, doesn't it? Okay, well, here we go. here we go again with Benghazi. Okay. Well, it appears now that Benghazi had a close to 10,000 missiles there that Ambassador Stevens kept telling Hillary Clinton, listen, get these things out of here. You know, I don't care if you want to do a wholesale brokerage on missiles and then take the money and put it in your own bank account, okay, which Hillary did, by the way. You know, and everybody's saying, well, if she's doing all these bad things, why isn't she in jail? All right. It's real simple. I'm mystified by it, except that I know about something called the 5 rings. All right. The 5 rings. Now, the 5 rings, if everybody's mystified, that has to do with pedophilia. Okay. Pedophiles and prostitution, you name it, Hollywood. And it turns out that Hillary, for many years now, has been flying sometimes twice a month into Hollywood, okay, where she has quite a deal going with all these compromised actresses, you know, actors, politicians, all of this stuff. And yes, it is so dirty, so nasty. It's hard to talk about on this show, Luca. It really is. But the thing is, guess who organized this years and years ago, organized this whole effort? And guess who has people like James Comey, okay, getting filmed raping a 12-year-old boy, okay? We all know James Comey, right? The All-American Boy Scout, okay? You know, gee, he had to go have dinner with the president, but he really wanted to be with his wife having dinner, okay? And he has grit. Oh, boy, there's the Boy Scout of all time, okay? Well, folks, you wait till you see that video, okay? And, you know, and then we want to mention, yeah, Hillary has the goods on Donald Trump too, okay? Remember Orgy Island? Remember that? Donald Trump doesn't want to remember that, okay? Funny thing. But there's that, here comes the Israeli connection, right? Mr. Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, remember him? All right, folks. So what we have here is a nice, warm, comfortable relationship that is paying Israel dividends, paying the Clintons dividends. Who's the largest contributor to Hillary's campaign? This is a quiz for everybody. It's the L3 Corporation. If you were to pull up a quick check on L3, first of all, you'd find out a couple of things. They ordered my rendition and torture out of Iraq when I stated that I was going to file charges for all the torture that we were doing to people. Okay, they ordered it. And secondly, okay, that the first one's a big one, okay, because that's personal. Wink, wink, okay. And then secondly, with Bill and Hillary, okay, yes, yeah, they helped run Orgy Island with Jeffrey Epstein, okay, and then they filmed like, you know, some prince in England, okay, Prince Andrew or something like that, okay, filmed him in Orgy Island, molesting 13-year-old Elizabeth Roberts, okay, all of this stuff. Now they've got grips. They've got real iron grips on all these foreign heads of state, and Israel has a grip on them, okay? Gee, you know, now Israel is beginning to look a little more different than those sweet little folks that everybody thinks of as, you know, what is it, Hasidic, you know, Ashkenazi, you know, nice little folks, just worried about making gefilte fish, okay? Forget it. They're not that way. As of course, the guy said, what was it? What did the guy complain about last week, Luca, that he called in and complained about something on our show? He said, oh, when we started talking about the Middle East, we lost him?
The religions, yeah. I think it's probably about Christmas or something.
Yeah. Well, guess what, folks? Okay, it ain't got to stop. Whether you like to hear about the Middle East or not, oh, well, too bad, because here, I'll show you how far this goes, okay? Remember Monica Lewinsky? Oi. Remember Monica? Been over the presidential desk, okay? You know, sampling cigars, okay, from Bill. Well, oi. Okay, if you listen carefully, that's what you'll hear. What's the word? Mossad operative.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gosh. So we've got the Mossad, okay, connected to which is connected to most of the drug operations in South America, Latin America, and who's the number one importer with Mena, Arkansas, okay, supporting the Clintons. And then he's the only president I've ever heard of being impeached, and he really wasn't impeached on top of that over this whole affair, okay? God, they're not going to let their boy go that easily. And so, hey, and then, okay, that young man who said, hey, we lost him, last week, connected to the Middle East when we started talking about it. Well, here, tie this one in. This affects everyone in America directly right now, okay? And we attempted to say something about it and kind of hint a warning to everyone. Well, here it is, okay? Let me turn the page on my notes, all right? Oh, what we have here is, remember, the Atlanta airport, the busiest airport in the world, okay?
Right.
Well, it sounded kind of odd at the time, and I've confirmed this, is yes, this mysterious airline, okay, that seems to work for Israel, okay, no names on the planes, basically a big white plane that has a interesting status. No one can be inspected, have their credentials challenged on those airplanes. They can land anywhere without any kind of inspection, but there's a problem, okay? Turn up your volumes, folks. I want you to hear this. When you load up, especially in an American airport, where there's theta sensors that check gamma for gamma radiation, like a bomb, okay, like a dirty bomb, all right? Yes, they're very sensitive. They haven't been able to get around that. And they detect from miles out to sea a ship carrying red glass, okay? Red glass is radioactive, okay? And so those theta sensors were functioning quite well there at Atlanta, all right? Now, it appears now that somebody somewhere wanted to send a shipment of plutonium from where? Okay, we ought to have a government officials on answering this instead of somebody like me, okay? All right, the plutonium production facility is in Savannah River, Georgia. Now, Atlanta is in what state? Georgia. Okay. Now, all this plutonium, and I'll slip this one in for you, folks. This is critical. Remember, what was it? A year ago, Obama, this is right before he left office, he said that he was energizing a program to produce plutonium to be used in space exploration.
Right.
Okay. Does anybody remember that out there? The president of the United States saying he's going to energize, plutonium refinement. Okay. Well, first of all, there's a couple of things I need to give you folks. Kazakhstan, Russia quit producing plutonium. All right. They ran out of plutonium. Where could they get it? Hillary Clinton offered, and Obama offered to send him and sell him for a fee, of course, that's the American way, a fee to get plutonium, okay, out of the U.S., and those two clowns pocketed a fortune, okay, a fortune. Lots of people involved. Somebody's going to squeal if you put the flames to their feet, okay? Real simple. There it is. There's a lifetime prison sentence for Obama and Hillary Clinton, okay?
It's all
I can't put it any simpler.
It's all tied together.
All right. There it is. No, we're not going to go fight another goddamn war for these assholes. Okay? It's real simple. I think you can allow that without being edited. Okay? Okay, good. Okay?
Yeah.
But the thing is, here, I want everybody to listen now. In Atlanta, the theta sensors cannot be shut off. They're automatic. They're a counter-terrorist measure, okay? So how do you shut something like that off? When you're shipping plutonium from the Savannah River facility, okay, to Atlanta airport, you stage a fake theta sensor attack. Okay, you got to shut those things off. All right, and what do we hear? We hear that the backup generator was damaged too. Okay,
Yeah.
that means that yes, within seconds, you can't have a bunch of thousands of people flying around in the air above an airport and not have a backup source of power if the power goes down. Well, no, that was damaged too. 1,200 flights were grounded for 8 hours. All right.
11, I think. I think it lasted 11 hours.
Yeah, something like that. Well, you had to disable. They had to disable, quote, disable, wink, wink. Okay. The two backup, or the two generators. Okay. The main power system and the backup generators. They're big standalone diesel engines. Okay. Disable those. All right. And then what do they show up with? Now they'd have to declare a real missile. Okay. A W8 size missile. They'd have to declare it. Okay. But given the fact that these guys can't be challenged on anything, minor detail. Okay. Well, it was in components. So guess what? It's not really a missile. Wink, wink. God, you know how bureaucracies can semanticize anything. Semantics are everything in government work. Okay. You could chop somebody's head off, on prime time TV. Okay. And it can be construed as any bureaucrat babble, psycho babble. Okay. So there it is. There's the components for the W8 were loaded up separately and then flown to Liège, quote, Liège, Belgium, wink, wink. I was in Liège just a few months ago. I know how they think there. Okay. Beautiful city, but they got their share of dirt bags. Okay. And then it was sent on to the land of Bibi Netanyahu. Now, do you have that quote handy? I want everyone to see that quote of Bibi Netanyahu.
Right. And this is what I'd like to open up with. Let me do the intro to this one.
Oh, love to.
I'm going to share screens with you first. Before we go into Israel real quick, I have this picture that I'd like everybody to take notes on. That little part on the bottom that starts with Jeb Bush and that ends with Gary Webb. I'd like to have everybody look it up, write down the names, okay? Because that's really important for what we just talked about. And by the way, update on Cody Snodgres also. The CIA asset and the whistleblower was released from hospital after a serious car crash. I'm going to try and put the links in, and if not, it'll be the two links, part 1 and part 2 of Cody Snodgres' video will be in the article. Take a look at this statement coming up from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, recorded during a 1990 meeting between him and an Israeli spy assigned to steal America's secrets and finishing setting the groundwork for the destruction of America. I suggest you carefully read what Netanyahu said here and ask yourself, did this happen to America? And the obvious answer is yes. Okay? Then I'd like you to think about what Netanyahu said here and ask yourself, did this happen all by coincidence, or did the Jewish community successfully plot and implement the destruction of America? The answer is obviously yes. If we get caught, they'll just replace us with persons of the same cloth. So it doesn't matter what you do. America is a golden calf, and we will suck it dry, chop it up, and sell it off piece by piece until there's nothing left but the world's biggest welfare state that we will create and control. There are all kinds of little mystery messages in there, because that's what they're already doing. Because it is the will of God, and America is big enough to take the hit, so we can do it again and again and again. This is what we do to countries that we hate, like Palestine. We destroy them very slowly and make them suffer for refusing to be our slaves. Greg?
Yeah, I believe that. Now, this wasn't made in connection, wasn't this? You can correct me if I'm wrong, but we had, in our intelligence business, we have encryption keys and decryption keys.
Okay.
Now, in the trades, we call them nut rolls, all right? Highly sensitive, highly secure. You very seldom ever see them because they're locked in vaults, deep vaults. Well, it turns out Mr. Netanyahu seems to have had cut a deal with Mr. Trudeau, okay, as in Canada, all
Mm-hmm.
right, to steal from the United States of America 5 decryption keys, okay? Oh, well, anywhere else, that would either get you, depending on the government, that would get you put up against the wall, okay, and shot, hung, gas chambered, you name it. It's called spying and it's called treason, okay? Now, this behavior is pretty normal. We expect this from Israel, okay, on a regular basis. Hey, they attack our ships, they kill our people, and there's all these Israeli apologists, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they didn't know it was us. They're just trying to defend themselves. They get terrorism every day. They make mistakes. Oh, yeah, pound sand. Kiss my ass, okay? Hey, the deal is they did the WTC, the World Trade Center. They killed 3,000. Okay, 3,000 Americans. All right, they killed them, murdered them horribly. All right, and everybody's making excuses. No, they didn't really blow up the World Trade Center. No, I just think of those 4 Israeli Mossad agents cheering, leaping with joy as the buildings were coming down. Okay,
Right.
people understand in America, they're not our friends. All right? They've never been our friends. They don't think America helped them get their sovereignty as a country, as a nation, and protected them ever since, and give them how many billions of dollars a year. They kind of overlook that. Wink, wink. They no, they pay us back by putting a Mossad operative into every single political politicians and representatives office in America. They sit there and scour the internet, scour the internet, looking for anything that can be construed as an attack or even a slander, and
Mm-hmm.
then attack the source. Okay, uh, and like I said, I just have to look back and watch the footage. I have a copy of it of Israelis machine gunning U.S. sailors that were on fire trying to leap off the ship into the Mediterranean. That was Liberty. Okay.
USS Liberty, yeah.
We have Jonathan Pollard. We have spies all the time getting caught spying for Israel. Not just Jonathan Pollard, Larry Franklin, and it goes on and on. Okay. Now we have this decryption key issue with Canada involved. and then, and then, what is it? What's the latest big scandal that's about to break? Okay. This is about a weekly thing now with Israel. Okay.
Well,
It appears
I'd
that
like
we're
to.
going to get a real serious scandal with Mr. Jared Kushner. Jared Kushner. Yes, he is at the center of something they're busy trying to suppress.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Mr. Kushner is heavily involved with Mossad. Yes, and it's comfortable to say that he is a controller of Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's the mouthpiece, Donald Trump. Now, yes, Netanyahu, he really screwed up at that big get together when he looked at Jared and said, Jared, my boy, hey, good long time no see. Should I tell everybody how long we've been together? Okay. Well, that was a real bad counterintelligence boo boo, Yahoo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what we have here is they are turning up the heat, and they've got their hands on a W. This is the creme de la creme here, folks. They've got their hands on a W8 MERV warhead. Okay, but it's okay, but because it's still in components. All right.
Mm.
Well, I was wondering, after watching all the at length and breadth that they went to get this multiple independently targeted warhead reentry vehicle, MERV, get it? Wink, wink. Okay. Well, it turns out that yes, they're deciding right now, okay, in Haifa, all right, they're trying to figure out where best to maximize psychological warfare. Okay. Where are they going to send that thing back to? In America. It's coming back to America, folks. And count on this. It's got to be put together and it's got to be flying very, very well. Okay. You know, those wonderful little submarines that they have there, you know, they're called really cute names like Dolphin. Okay. One is called the Dolphin. Well, that missile is coming back to us and it's got to blow up when it gets here. All right. And why do you think they insisted on utilizing American plutonium? Okay. That's why. Okay. Everybody's talking about missiles now. Well, by the time everyone gets to realizing that it didn't come from North Korea, it didn't come from Russia, it didn't come from, oh, this is my favorite, Al Qaeda. All right. It didn't come from Pakistan. No, it came from, all right, the land of the Negev. Okay. That's where they make warheads and missiles in Israel. Okay. Now they've got a American-made multi-component neutron bomb headed right back at us. Okay, folks, count on it, understand it. No, it's not Armageddon, but it might as well be. Okay.
Well, Greg, but before we hang up on Israel, I got to do something. I have to send more honor to one individual in particular. And funny how you call it psychological warfare. As I share screens with you again, there's a 17-year-old Palestinian girl that we have to honor tonight. Her name is Ahed Al-Timimi. She's 17 years old. She was taken into custody at dawn on the 19th of December after Israelis raided her family home in Al-Nabi Saleh, a small village near Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. The Israeli army searched Al-Tamimi's house, taking personal laptops, mobile phones, electronic equipment belonging to the family. Ahed's arrest came after a video went viral on Israeli social media showing her slapping and kicking two armed Israeli soldiers with M16 guns, helmets, and body armor. Okay, Al-Timimi's father, Bassem, wrote on December 19th on Facebook that his daughter was reacting after Israeli soldiers shot her cousin, Mohammed Al-Tamimi, on the 15th of December, while he was protesting Donald Trump's decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital. The 14-year-old was reportedly placed in medically induced coma after Israeli soldiers shot him in the face with a rubber bullet. Last we know, her detention of 4 days turned into a week, and there's even talk of an Israeli journalist who said that they should have fun with her in prison, where there's no cameras and it's dark, so nobody knows. I mean, this is the type of people we're dealing with. So we really have to give her a tip of the hat for being so brave. And in a 5-minute video that you can watch on YouTube, she says at 17 years old, this is how traumatized she was. She says, we should extend our struggles to one another in order to end all the world's injustices. So,
yes.
You know, Palestine, we know how you feel. Coming right to you from the original people of America, the Red brothers and sisters of mine. They do it in Israel like they do it at Standing Rock in the Dakotas. You know, it's all about fighting and working for Israel, the fake state owned by the Rothschilds. Lots of native Palestinian land looks just like the loss of Native American land, like we keep saying all the time. Same Hebrew supremacy philosophy driving both genocides. So I thought that was really important to mention, and that just puts the icing on the cake on Israel. And I'm okay now that I said it.
Okay, well, on a closing note, I know we're running out of time here, but on a closing note, I would just want to say I got to review, thanks to you, Luca, I got to review the entire length of that footage of that little crazy, maniacal, pathologically murderous policeman, okay,
Oh, yeah.
who shot that kid, who was on his hands and knees, okay, trying to follow instructions. And what was the story I related to you, Luca, about this? Okay, it goes something like this. That policeman was going to kill somebody, anybody, no matter what they did, no matter how much they complied with given orders. He was going to shoot that poor kid. And I didn't see, I only got to see the watered down version, that was cut very quickly from our local news. These are militarized police, okay? Right. And that's what this idiot Sessions looks like a turtle. Doesn't he look like a turtle? Okay. He sounds like a turtle, talks like a turtle. Okay. He doesn't like marijuana. Okay. And he definitely wants to see the cops get more military hardware. All right. I read you the list. Several hundred personnel carriers. Say what? Okay. Bayonets for American police, bayonets. Okay. We got something wrong here, folks. And after seeing that video, I know exactly what is wrong. Okay. We have people. First of all, cops aren't supposed to be adversarial. They're supposed to be working to enforce laws and working to protect people. Okay. Right. When somebody walks around the hallway in a hotel, okay, and that cop pulled a high-powered rifle, where did he get a rifle from? Is my big question. Where did he get a rifle from? Okay. Did he get it out of his car? Usually they have shotguns in cars. Okay. And what was he doing firing a high-powered weapon through the thin hallway and the building materials of a hotel? Okay. Right. And I watched him. He was trying to figure out, the cop was trying to figure out any way he could give an ambivalent order to make this kid do something wrong. And as far as I could tell, that kid was doing everything he could not to get shot.
It looked like a video game, Greg. It really looked like he was playing a video game.
And how I know that is that cop just didn't have that weapon that looked like a Ruger Mini 14 223 rounds, okay, with a triple bladed military front sight. All right. So what it looks like is that no matter what, he was going to that poor kid was going to get shot in the head or shoulders. Okay. And I didn't realize, because I only saw your version, okay, was this, okay, is that the cop had flipped it on from single shot, okay, which he should have had if he had anything at all. He flipped it to what is a select auto, okay? That's the term when you fire 3 rounds, okay, in a burst, 3 rounds in a burst. He had it to select auto, not full auto, okay? That would have chewed the whole hallway up and probably killed the girl too that was there, okay? And there's no way you could justify that. He had flipped it to select auto, 3 round burst, okay? That poor kid was murdered, all right? And now you're saying, well, the police department reviewed that and found him within operational standards.
Operational procedure, yeah.
Kiss my ass, operational standards. I was going home one night, okay, and this is years ago. I told you about it. I was in my Volkswagen, okay, which is not known for setting speeding records, okay, and I was pulled over by a sheriff. Fortunately, I was a police officer myself, okay, and I was pulled over by a sheriff, and I had my coat on over my uniform, and he gets out and he pulled me over. Okay, all right, some mistake here, and he's screaming, and he had his gun drawn, okay, and there was no talking to this guy whatsoever, all right, and it dawned on me, this son of a bitch was going to shoot me before he even checked my ID, okay, before he even checked my ID, he was going to shoot me, okay, and I'm just waiting, and the only thing that saved me, I was on a busy street with people going by, with their headlights on. They could see everything. That's the only thing that saved me. And then when he gets up to me, he starts screaming about license plates. what is this idiot talking about is what I'm thinking of. And because I had the car all my life, it's my Volkswagen, 1.6 million miles on that same car now, okay? And I've had the same plates on it the exact same time, okay? All the time. Well, he starts screaming that I had stolen those plates and put it on that Volkswagen, okay? Well, he opens the car door and throws me in, right? Throws me in. And I'm sorry, one thing first, he checked me, patted me down, and then he comes up, and there in my pocket of my jumpsuit, I had my wallet with my badge, okay? And he said, "What's this?" Okay. And I said, "It's my badge, as in badge number, okay, as in peace officer." And he fell over backwards, okay, like he was going to have a heart attack. And I said, "Yes, what's the problem?" He said, "In the car." So about that time, this guy had already called for backup, okay, and 3 other sheriff's cars show up. And of course, the senior guy walks over, takes one look, and opens the car door and says, "Come on out of there." And kind of dusts me off a little bit. He dusts the handprints off of my back, okay, from when the guy shoved me into the car, and checks the dent on my head when I hit the side of the car door. And the guy starts screaming, "It wasn't my fault. I didn't know he was a cop." You know, and it's like, why are you acting that way to anybody, you moron? Okay. And then he says, I should have spoken up faster about letting him know that I was a cop. Okay. Right. And it turns out what his big thing is the plates on my Volkswagen that had been there virtually all my life since I'd had the car, bought the car when I was 16. Turns out that those plates were, and I looked at the screen to confirm this because I didn't trust this idiot. And it turns out that they were reported lost or stolen in Wyoming. Okay. And I said, "No, this is California. That's not my problem. I was following procedure." Oh, really? Okay. And I don't know what procedure is, moron.
Right.
Okay. And he was ranting and raving as the senior supervisor got me out of the car. This guy's ranting at me. Okay. So I'll tell you what, I knew exactly what was going on when I saw that idiot, okay, cop, who should be in jail now. He should be in jail, okay? And where I worked at Folsom Prison, okay, to show you that, how times haven't changed, a friend of mine was trying to save the life of an inmate, okay, inmate of Folsom Prison, along with all the other psychopaths and serial killers. But he shot a guy who was stabbing another inmate, okay? Shot the guy, killed him, okay? And Bill Clinton sends in, and Bill and Hillary, I've got a special place in my heart for them, okay? They send in Janet Reno to prosecute this guy for shooting this inmate that was stabbing. And by the way, they both died, okay? The guy he was stabbing died, and when he got shot, he died too, okay? The stabber died, okay? And so they tried my friend and found him guilty of, well, what was it? Something, too much zealous behavior or something like that, okay? And sent him to prison. It took 2 years to get him out of prison, okay? So that's what we have here, folks. This is what happens when you militarize the cops and you keep them from being peace officers and make them adversarial in their behavior towards the public. You have psychopaths like this little son of a bitch who shot this poor kid who was on his hands and knees crying, okay? And then have the nerve to have the department say operational procedure was observed. And remember Rodney King? Remember Rodney King when he had the bark beaten off of him so badly? It was grim for me to watch, okay? And it was something I wasn't unfamiliar with. Yeah. And they're all in prison still. All those cops, finally, but it had to go to a federal court. So it shows you what time and place we're in, folks. Things are very dangerous right now. you know, our government is busy selling nuclear warheads to our allies so they can fire them back on us. I just told you how that one of the greatest terrorist events of all time in U.S. history was done by our own government. And I can guarantee you, no one will jump up and say, let's find out what is behind all of this. And let's throw those sons of bitches who were responsible into prison.
Right.
All right.
Well, Greg, for you and in your honor, and just so that people can see, I have a 2-minute clip that we're going to show from that 12-minute segment originally to show what happened in that hallway with that police officer. So without further ado, I can't thank you enough, Greg, for giving us another show and giving us so much of your time. And I'd like to thank our listeners as well, because they're, you know, without them, we wouldn't have any numbers and we wouldn't be here. So thank you so much, Greg. And we gotta show this video. We gotta let people know.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Stop right there. Stop. Stop. Get on the ground, both of you. Lay down on the ground. Lay down on the ground. Who else is in the room? Nobody. Apparently we have a failure for you to comprehend simple instructions. I'm going to go over some of them again, okay? Can you both hear and understand me?
Yes.
All right. If you make a mistake, another mistake, there's a very severe possibility you're both going to get shot. Do you understand that?
Yes. I do.
Yes. All right. Shut up. I'm not here to be tactful and diplomatic with you. You listen, you obey. For one thing, did I tell you to move, young man? Did I tell you to put both your hands on the top of your head and interlace your fingers? Take your feet and cross your left foot over your right foot. If you move, we're going to consider that a threat, and we are going to deal with it, and you may not survive it. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, young man, listen to my instructions and do not make a mistake. You are to keep your legs crossed. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
You are to put both of your hands palm down, straight out in front of you. Push yourself up to a kneeling position. I said, keep your legs crossed.
Sorry.
I didn't say there's a conversation. Hands your hair. Hands up in the air. You do that again, we're shooting you. Do you understand?
Please do not shoot me.
Then listen to my instructions.
I'm trying to just do what you
Don't talk, listen. Hands straight up in the air. Do not put your hands down for any reason. You think you're going to fall, you better fall on your face. Your hands go back in the small of your back or down. We are going to shoot you. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
Crawl towards me. Crawl towards